Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my Week 7 team builder for the 8th season of the GPC. This week, not today, sorry. We will be going up against Joqq and his Dunfirmlinoones. Please go check out Joqq. His link will be in the description below, as well as all the links to the rest of the coaches of the GPC this season, so you can get tons of Draft League content while this season is going on. So, Week 7. Unfortunately, we're 2-4. We're not looking so hot for playoffs, but we are going to try our damnedest to A, win out, and B, hopefully make playoffs. Currently, the second spot in the division is at, I think, only 2 losses. Basically, Johnny's ahead of everyone, and then a bunch of teams are only have 2 losses. Some of them only have 3. Our division is relatively close, so who knows? Maybe if I get some if some matches go my way and I can win out, then I could possibly make playoffs. But regardless of whether there's a mathematical chance or not, I'm still going to try my best. And my goodness, is Joqq not going to make winning easy this week. So let's go over Joqq's team real quick, because his team is, in my opinion, one of the best in the league. He got the Zygarde 50, Infernape, Raikou, Bronzong, Starmie, Mega Aerodactyl, Miltank, Drapion, Aromatisse, Quagsire, and Scyther. His Z-Mons being Zygarde 50 and Drapion. First of all, big threats. Again, like with Johnny's team, a lot of it. Zygarde, Bandit hits too much. It's too fat to be OHKO'd by pretty much anything unboosted. So if it's not Bandit, it can get basically a free setup move. Infernape gets way too much coverage. Starmie gets a ridiculous amount of coverage and is quite fast for how hard it can hit. Arrow is... I thought the entire season that I would always have the fastest amount of Mega Manectric, but Mega Arrow just completely throws that out the window. And yeah, there is a lot of stuff here that Joqq just can have to wreck my team, and god damn it, Joqq, you took my Bronzong from me because I was going to pick it in the round you took it. But that's beside the point. But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not really liking my matchup this week, but if there is a solace, there is one Mon on my team that can just run through Joqq's team. So let's go over my team right now. We're going to start with that huge breaker for my team, which is Swords Dance Weavile. No Life Orb or Choice Band this week. We are actually setting up with our Weavile because at +2 with Expert Belt, Joqq's team does not like taking anything from this Pokemon. I don't have Icicle Crash on here. I guess I should go over it. So the speed, obviously, is for his 115s. I believe 3-6. Yes. This is for his 115s, which are Raikou and Starmie. And then we have Knockoff, obviously here to hit super effective damage, plus just be a complete nuisance at +2. Low Kick is here specifically for Miltank. And then we have Ice Shard because, just because he has a lot of stuff that can outspeed me, basically. Mostly the Aerodactyl plus Zygarde gets extreme speed. We'll get over that because we are Expert Belt this week, because we basically can't afford to be Life Orb. If we are Life Orb, Joqq has a decent chance of revenge killing this with his Zygarde with extreme speed if he's banded. So basically, my goal is I can't let Weavile get under I believe the roll is 44 on this Weavile. 44% min on a banded extreme speed. So for once, Weavile's health actually does matter, where most weeks it doesn't. But yeah, that is the main reason we are Expert Belt. And even if we're not Expert Belt, even if we're not Life Orb, Expert Belt gives us the extra power on a lot of the stuff that can basically guarantee us the OHKO. Like Ice Shard at +2, Ice Shard is a guarantee kill on the Zygarde if it's not Yachi Berry. It is a guarantee kill on Mega Aerodactyl that is speed creeping my Manectric. And then Low Kick is a 2-hit KO on Miltank, enough to the point where he can't Milk Drink stall me. And then basically the rest of his stuff just doesn't like taking +2 knockoff, because that's already a merit enough. That's already merit enough to run knockoff and Swords Dance. The one thing that can stop this Weavile from ripping apart Joq's team is his Infernape, which is why we have to bring the new member Toxapex, Death Charge making his debut. basically, again, with this, even though I'm FizzDef, I had to take a look at what I did last week with Ben, where I had to calc Infernape with both max attack and max special attack with a Life Orb just basically personally make sure that Toxapex can take the hits that I needed to take. So max attack, Life Orb, Earthquake, which is the best thing to hit Toxapex, does a maximum of 51%. So, meaning, it's a guarantee 3-hit KO. He cannot 2-hit KO me. And with Black Sludge, I can just recover stall him out of Life Orb hits if he is Life Orb. Excuse me. If he is not Life Orb, then he is doing significantly less damage, and this is an easy switch in on his Infernape every single time. But his Infernape has to come because it is literally the one thing that can stop my Weavile from just destroying his team. So because of that, we have to bring the Toxapex. Scald is obvious. We're actually bringing Toxic Spikes this time. As Drapion is kind of likely, but I'm not really too worried about Drapion with this Toxapex other than the potential knockoff. Obviously, Recover plus Regenerate is good. I couldn't think of a last slot here. So honestly, I just went with Icy Wind to try to just throw off Joqq's speed creeping plans. If I can get his Raikou to -1 speed, or pretty much anything. If I can get any of his offensive mons to -1 speed, it'll be a lot easier for my Pokemon to revenge it. Especially the Raikou. The only problem with this is that it does grant a relatively free switch into Raikou, and Raikou is actually quite a problem for my team because because my ground type is not defensive in the slightest and has a 4x weakness, which he can just slap a hidden power on. So that is one reason you see no Landorus this week. Another reason is he does have the Bronzong, and Bronzong's pretty much a hard counter to Lando T, which is why I wanted Bronzong, but unfortunately Joqq sniped it. But anyways, yeah, again, not too much to say about Toxapex. It's a relatively straightforward set. Again, just aggressively putting speed on here, so to disrupt his speed creeping, as he does have Quagsire also hitting base 35 speed, and Bronzong is at base 33, and Aromatisse is at base 29. So basically, this is just trying to aggressively get the one-up on his speed creeps from his slow mons that could run just a little bit of speed to outspeed this. Next up, we have my physically defensive Uxie, which will be my first, well, I guess it's my only switch into Zygarde's 1000 Arrows, because 1000 Arrows is a stupid move. It's our rocker for the match. If for whatever reason he does decide to run a no-speed Zygarde, but I doubt he would do that, I do have, again, just kind of jeez, I cannot talk today. Enough speed to throw off his speed creeping tactics, basically. As far as the moves go, this is my rocker for the match. U-turn to get out of there if I can predict him to switch, knockoff for general utility, and then Ice Punch to hit the Zygarde. If he is max speed, I cannot let him get basically a free sub up. I have to be clicking Ice Punch onto it. And Toxic couldn't work because A, I'm not Infiltrator, and B, oh god, I can't think. And B, assuming he would be running speed on his Zygarde, I cannot Toxic in front of a substitute. I basically fear sub after last season of PDL when I had to face it a bunch and Mike just ran substitute every match. But yeah, after that season, seeing how sub got brought on Zygarde pretty much every game, I had to fear a sub on the Zygarde, and I basically had to put Ice Punch on here so that way I don't let the Zygarde set up a sub for free. Next up, a little weird seeing Megaane Electric on a team that has both a Zygarde and a Quagsire, two different ground types that have two different 4x weaknesses, but I figured that he might think that I'm putting this on the bench, so he might not bring one of his ground types, but I still have to prepare for it. Basically, this set, talking about the speed first. So obviously this speed does not outspeed his max speed Aerodactyl. That's a pretty much given. But what this will outspeed, if we go back to my Weavile here, 363 is the speed creep on his base 115s, which is the gap that he has with Mega Aerodactyl and his 115s, Raikou and Starmie. So I could be 363 just to creep those, but then Mega Aerodactyl can creep Manectric at 364, so I am actually creeping that at 365. So basically, this Manectric will outspeed a Mega Aerodactyl that is speed creeping a Manectric that is speed creeping the 115s. I'm creeping the creep, as they would say. But yeah, unfortunately, Volt Switch does not kill that Mega Aerodactyl set, but it does grant a clean 73% on a min roll. And then I needed Overheat to even think about denting the specially defensive Bronzong, which is almost a guarantee bring because I do have Landorus. And as well, I do have Whimsicott, because another thing you'll notice about Joqq's team is that his Fairy Resist is Bronzong, and that is it. Granted, his only Fairy Weakness, once again, is the Zygarde, so very similar to Ben's team. Only one Fairy Weakness and one Fairy Resist, but then the rest of his team is neutral. But yeah, so anyways, Volt Switch Overheat for the Bronzong. I needed HP Grass for the Quagsire because I figure that HP Ice is... I predict him to run some bulk into his Zygarde because like that's the big thing of Zygarde. It gets a lot of bulk investment. And HP Ice is not going to be a 2-hit KO on that. So instead what I'm going to do is try and Intoxicate. As I will be able to Toxicate before a sub. Yeah, I basically... because I wanted Toxic for the Zygarde, because HP Ice wouldn't do a whole lot, I opted for HP Grass instead to hit the Quagsire, should he bring it. Next up, we have our Whimsicott. Now, I did say that his Fairy Resists are limited to only Bronzong, but the problem with that is, if I make this an offensive Whimsicott, his Raikou becomes way too big of a threat, like, way too big. So basically... I had to go with the specially defensive Whimsicott. We are speed creeping a max speed Drapion. Well, max speed 95, so I guess this also does speed creep his Zygarde. And basically, if I didn't have this, Raikou could basically run rampant. As if he was Specs, I could just stay regular Manectric and absorb electric attacks with Lightning Rod, but then Shadow Ball's doing too much. Specs HP Ice on this is a guaranteed 3-hit KO. There's no way he can get it down to a 2-hit KO without a crit. And if he's not Specs, that damage decreases significantly. And if he's not Specs, he's either going to be Assault Vest or Calm Mind leftovers. And if in the case he's Calm Mind, we do have the Encore here to try to lock him into Calm Mind, and then we can U-turn out. Oh, excuse me. I thought that was going to be a cough. But anyways. And then we do have Leech Seed for a little bit more recovery. Moonblast, obviously here, because his Fairy Resists are, other than Bronzong, non-existent. And then U-turn out, as Encore does force switches. A little weird to see not a Grass move on this, considering he does have... oh god, a Quagsire. And who knows, I might change it. But right now, I'm really feeling Leech Seed. I might change this to Giga Drain later, but ultimately, other than the Quagsire, I think I would rather the Leech Seed. I think it just makes a little more sense for his team, especially because I don't see him bringing Sap Sipper Miltank. If he does bring Miltank, I see it more Thick Fat to try to deal with my Weavile, since Weavile is a massive threat to his team. And yeah, so again, a pretty straightforward set, just speed creeping the 95s and then putting the rest of the HP in special bulk to deal with the Raikou the best. Lastly, I honestly could not think of a last Pokemon to put in. Like, I just thought his team, like, basically I thought of these 5 Mons, and I don't even know if the first 5 Mons are going to be good. Like, okay, the first 2 in Weavile and Toxapex I know are going to be, like, crucial to winning this game. The next 3, I honestly have no idea. And then when I came to this one, I could not think of another Mon. Like, Landorus, A, he has the Bronzong to stop it, and B, Landorus has a massive case of 4 move slot syndrome, and even item syndrome. He has a lot of Pokemon that outspeed 101 base speed, so Life Orb wasn't exactly the greatest thing, and if I'm Scarf, that limits my capabilities, and I would also have to be mixed, because I would definitely need Rock Slide to hit the Mega Aerodactyl and the Scyther if he decides to bring the Scyther. And yeah, so other than that, Exploud, again, it does do a decent amount of work to his team. Like in the match with Johnny, Exploud does dent his team quite hard. But again, with the match with Johnny, the speed tiers work out where I would not have to invest into speed, and I would instead have to invest into bulk. But his offense is just way too great, where I am basically taking one hit, and that's basically the limit of ElScizor's revenging capabilities for the match, so I didn't want to go with that. And then Blaziken just seemed too awkward because Zygarde actually at Adamant can outspeed a max speed Jolly Blaziken. So I would have to run some sort of setup, and while I am running setup here, like I basically didn't. I tried avoiding getting 2 setup mons on the same team because I tried it against Josh and it just didn't work out. Maybe that was just the match with Josh, I don't know, and maybe it was just the way that Josh's team was constructed. But Blaziken felt a little too awkward in the same spot, as it also suffered a lot from the same 4 move slot syndrome. Haxorus does not really. So I went with Dragon Dance, obviously because he has a Mega Arrow and he has a lot of stuff that outspeeds 97. So I wanted to be able to get the jump on those Pokemon. Plus, at +1, I am pretty much OHKOing everything. I think the only thing I don't guarantee KO with any of my moves. Well, the only thing I wouldn't guarantee KOing with any of my moves is Unaware Quagsire, if he brings that. And then I think maybe Eviolite Scyther, and I can... Okay, Miltank I can do a KO. But the big thing was I cannot guarantee knock out the Mega Aerodactyl that's speed creeping the Manectric. It gets quite a bit of bulk investment, so it's still a roll. It's still a roll to kill. But yeah, I decided to go... I just decided this was the 3 best coverage moves. Outside of Rock Slide would be the only other thing I would want, potentially, for the Scyther. And I took out some... I needed the speed EVs, obviously, to outspeed his 95s again. And then I took out some attack investment to make it so I have enough to have 11 Life Orb hits instead of 10, like I normally do. And this bulk, or the attack loss, does not take away any chances of OHKOs. Even if this is max attack at +1, I can't guarantee OHKO that Mega Aerodactyl set I was talking about. So yeah, that's the team. I'm really not sure about this team, I'll be completely honest, but I'm sure gonna give it my damnedest shot. And yeah, if I do change anything though before the match, I will let you know at the start of the match, which will be going live tomorrow. So yeah, keep your eye on the channel for that match, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.